Yep, we can wander into death, it looks like. Suicide bomber, I'm imagining?
I feel something near. Suggestions?
Why are you asking me for help? What do I look like to you, a strategy guy?
Here we go. I thought that would be a trap of some sort, but... Do I not have her move? Heaven's Wrath. Magic Mastery. Um... Magic weapon. We can put it on in place of the Ensis.
This is getting weirder and weirder. Any idea of where we could be?
The ideal place for a picnic?
Wonderful help.
My pleasure.
Until we actually have an idea of where we're going, I'm at least going to try to scrounge up whatever things I can find. So far I'm not encountering any sort of resistance or really anything. Is there a way I can look at the map? Let's try this temple.
This being. It's pure darkness. It'll be quite resistant to my powers.
Yeah, leave the black ones to me and take the white ones for yourself.
existential devourers.
Yeah, those guys are bad news. This one is from a lesser hierarchy, but in our current form, you are not ready to face a higher one.
And I went through all that just for a freaking life fragment. So, I don't know if there's a nice, convenient place for them to heal up.
Enemy in the sky, I can launch them twice as high. Take a look, I'm in a book, you're reading ergo. I can't go anywhere. Bearers to know, and ways to grow, you're reading ergo. I can kill anything. Take a look, I'm in a book, a reading ergo, a reading ergo, a reading ergo!
Little Jonathan Koppel had spent his whole life in his huge mansion without windows. He never lacked anything. He was surrounded by a legion of servants that took care of him with absolute devotion. All of them wore strange masks and acted in a cold and distant way, but took care of him like he was the only thing that mattered in the world. From them, the boy learned the most exquisite manners, and to act like a gentleman of the highest rank. When the young one asked why he was there, His servants always told him that his parents had to go far away, and it was his obligation to wait for them there until they came back. When he learned to read, Jonathan began spending most of his time in the huge library of his house, reading tales and stories that made his imagination fly. He dreamed of fairies, goblins, and fantasy creatures that existed beyond the walls that confined him. But over the years, as he grew older, the mansion seemed to him to grow ever smaller until his home became a prison for him. Finally, the night that he turned 12, he ran away. Why wouldn't he? After all, he could never have imagined that the mansion existed only to protect him.
So I don't know what those memories are for, but... You know what? Let's be adventurous. Let's try the heart of the mountain.
Alarm! Intruder! Heretic!
Any idea what the hell those things are?
I'm guessing there's some kind of protector totems.
They're heavily guarded against magic. We should find a way to climb up there. Let's look around.
Is it gonna be shooting at me? We can smash one of these. Okay. And more platforming. At least it's not shooting.
Oh my god, that was lame. This keeps up, I'm gonna be a softcover book.
So apparently we step forward when we shoot our laser. Well, they said it's heavily resistant to magic. Okay, that's definitely cranking it up a bit. Okay, there are 3 faces there for me to smash. For a second there I thought there were fewer platforms. It looks like there might still be the same. $500 EXP for that. And we get another storybook.
Jonathan couldn't believe how fascinating the outside world was. Vast green pastures spread between beautiful mountains. Just a few hours ago, he had left the mansion, and all that he saw only increased his attraction to the wondrous outside world. But his greatest surprise was to discover he wasn't alone. There weren't normal people like he expected, but fantastic creatures swarming everywhere, the same kinds which appeared in the tales he read in his library. Both horrible monsters and wonderful beings observed the little one with fascination, and to his surprise, tried to help him. Soon, a legion of creatures began to follow Jonathan, as if they had never seen someone like him before. From them, Jonathan found out that they were in a place called Folklore, the back of a huge creature of vast proportions. The world was changing, and the fantasy was dying. The last fairy tales had taken refuge there, trying to accumulate enough power to survive. But none of them knew why Jonathan was there. In order to find answers, the creatures advised the child to travel to the heart of the mountain, where the Lord of Fantasy was. Jonathan thought it was a great idea.
Okay, so has that memory actually changed anything, I wonder? And then I don't know if this was always here or if it just appeared, but I'll take it nonetheless. Life Soul. I think that's just a big healing item, but I'm not totally sure. Okay, we're on the other side of the place we were at. That was just a flat amount of money, I'm guessing, since no item appeared, but my currency did.
Do you have the ability to move between rooms in Arcane? They're definitely different from the rest.
You're the entity that we saw before in the central room.
Correct. But it would be better if you don't ask silly questions like who I am or what I'm doing here. I can't answer what I don't know. I can just tell you that I'm an inhabitant of Arcane who, like you, can move around freely. It's a pleasure, milady.
Do you happen to know anything about this place? What's happening here?
I'm not sure. In my own way, I'm as lost as you are. I can only say that this is a place of memories. Made of memories. If you look around with care, you may find fragments of the very essence of this place.
What do you mean?
Let me give you an example. The zodiac seals and the columns of this area have some very special features. Activated by a normal being, they become white and pure, but when activated by a dark entity, they darken. If you combine the seal's colors properly, you may obtain a result that can be very useful for you. To know which color each seal must be, you should check the masks that are beside them. If the mask is telling a lie, you must make the seal dark. Whereas, if it's telling the truth, the seal must be white. There's at least one thing I can assure you. The Mask of Leo is telling the truth.
Okay, so we found our first puzzle. Now do I have to clear out the enemies here again? That is the question. And... okay, our friend Zero Mask is still here. How do I actually talk to them? Let's Libra. I'm just gonna flip these two and see if anything happens. Wait a second, are those the masks? Oh well.
The heart of the mountain was floating in front of him. That huge rock contained Folklore's core, a place where the real and the unreal were two sides of the same coin. It was the center of fantasy itself, and to his surprise, the heart spoke. It told him the tale of a crossbred child, half human and half fairy tale. His mother was the greatest witch of her time, the only mortal that the fantasy loved above any other. But a child born of such a union was something that should not exist. His birth would destroy his mother, and fantasy didn't want to lose the woman he loved. The witch understood what was going to happen, and ran away to ensure that the child she was carrying didn't suffer any damage, even if that meant her own demise. She built a great mansion and filled it with soulless homunculi to serve the boy when she was gone. That place was separated from the world, away from fantasy. If she managed to keep the little one there until he became an adult, his supernatural legacy would be erased, and he could be normal. After all, only kids dream. What a story, Jonathan lied to himself, without realizing that he had started to cry.
They misspelled soulless there in case you didn't notice, but yeah, I guess I solved the puzzle on accident.
Those statue heads. What?
They were guardian spirits. If we want to pass through, we need to find those things and destroy them.
They can't be far from here. I can feel them.
Good girl! You really are doing your homework. You may be able to control my powers better than I thought.
Shut up. Both guardians have fallen. The seal is broken. This place. This is part of the messenger. Everything here resonates with his fragments of memories. We can use it to reach him.
Yes, but we will need at least 3 to summon him. Two more. One more.
We don't have any fragments of memories left.
Okay, starting here I'll be doing the post-game commentary. Livecom is now a thing of the past. So we're coming over here for the 4th memory and a prisoner key, which will require us to defeat a seraphim. I'll let them speak.
Shit! You remember what I said to you before about being careful with higher Noth? That's a queen!
So Ergo makes it sound pretty tough, and if you want to try to fight this thing melee, it is pretty dangerous. I really do recommend this being one of those fights that you just spam it to death with Bear's magic. But other thing, I did livecom when I first started the game. That was in the very first part, Road to the Tower, and it was also in the first half of this video. So keep in mind that I'm actually fighting this thing before I fought Nazgul, even set foot in the Mansion of Puppets and all of that. And if you have any doubts, you'll actually see me in the level up screen after the fight, but just spam the spells. The thing gets staggered after being hit. I suspect the game devs actually intended for you to just hit it with a spell, then dash in there, follow up with some melee attacks, stuff like that, but it's just not worth it. This thing is supposed to kind of help you prepare for Jonathan, because the ideal way to deal with him is indeed to lead off with a magic attack, then dash in and follow up with a combo. But there's so much BS going on with the character that it'd be better if something like this actually worked instead. So you can take to the air if you want. That attack will be homing. The trade-off is it does less damage. If time is not of the essence to you, then by all means just take to the air and spam. But otherwise, if you want to take it down like this, just let it come a little close, and then you can chain it down like that. So 500 EXP, which is a level at this point, and here's a memory.
How much time had passed? Actually, that didn't matter anymore. The human half of Jonathan allowed him to survive to what was supposed to be the end of the fantasy. In those chaotic days, his father tried to devour him. It was the last thing he did before dying. Perhaps he still hated Jonathan for his mother's death. Or maybe he was just trying to absorb the magic inside of him in order to survive. One way or another, the result was, ironically, the opposite. Jonathan absorbed all of the entity's essence, and now he had more power than he could have ever dreamed of. He became the Lord of Folklore, and thanks to him, all its inhabitants survived. They gave him a new name, the Fairy King.
Okay, that's the prisoner key that I used to free the merchant, just in case you were wondering. But I'll go to the level up screen right here. I didn't actually know what that was, that's why I was reading about it. Before I actually show the Capel fight, I will go ahead and get the 5th memory. In order to get it, you have to get the ability to interact with the seals from the Cathedral of Aranis. And then the place you need to go is actually the 3rd wing, the area before Folklore. Unfortunately, the recording software actually cut off me showing the device interact, but I'll show you where it actually is. Basically, we need an item, and then we have to come back out here to Mini Stonehenge out there to get the 5th and final memory. And then once again, I tried to fight Capel with 4 memories in place just to see if it had any sort of influence on the fight, and I didn't actually see anything, so I don't know what the ultimate effect is. But anyway, these are the moves that you've seen me use already, because I'm just now learning them, level 5. You can tell I want to go to that bottom right corner. It's just I can't yet. So close. So right here I am going through the inventory just in case you want to see some of the stuff I was using at the time. I really do recommend doing Jonathan 3rd though, so you'll have better equipment when you come. Okay, here we're going to cut to the chamber where you'll find the core of the fantasy. So right here we're in the 3rd wing, follow it all the way to the end here, and right there is the core of the fantasy, which is the 5th memory. Now in order to do that, you have to go to Stonehenge, but first...
This place is the Folklore. It may not seem like it, but we are on the back of a gargantuan beast, a huge turtle. Its master is the Dark Child of Light, Jonathan Capel. He is the current Fairy King, a powerful entity with the form of a little child. The Folklore is inhabited by elementals and ancient spirits, many of which are quite powerful. They're mostly sealed in statues, masks, and artifacts, which are part of Jonathan's collection.
Okay, now that she's done, apparently I did the Capel fight first. So I'll let them talk and then I'll provide commentary.
Hail and well met! Had I known thy arrival would be so swift, I would have prepared us some tea. Whither art mine manners?
Capel, I've heard about you. I know who you are.
Thou flatterest me. But please, calleth me Jonathan. I hath also heard about ye, the legendary Ergo Mundus, and its beauteous nameless owner. Thou art even lovelier than they hath said.
Are you behind all of this? You created Arcane?
My most humble apologies. I fear thou art mistaken. I have been invited hither, the same as thee.
You are one of the most powerful known entities, Jonathan. You expect me to believe you're here by chance?
This place hath calleth me. I heard its voice, and hither I am.
Get out of here, Jonathan. I have seen part of your life. I don't want to be forced to destroy you.
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
Thine offer is much appreciated. However, 'tis futile. Not only can thy power not penetrate mine defenses, in truth, I needeth the book thou art carrying.
Is this some kind of joke?
This place doth offer me power. Power to do what I wish. In exchange, I needeth thee to cease to exist, Sir Ergo. I shall hence obtain the advantage I require to best the others. Verily, some of us art terrifying.
What do you mean?
It matters not. Alas, milady, I have given thee a chance. Ah, what a joyously festive event awaits!
So sadly, Capel there is one of the characters that I have to say has no true place in this game. He is horribly, horribly unbalanced for all the things he brings, and really there's just no excuse for any of it. So right there I tried to combo him as best as possible, but to put into context what type of character he is, he's a long-range caster with amazing gap-closing ability, as you can see there. He has all sorts of ways to disengage, be it moves like this, like that, like the little chain lightning that looks more like a Star Wars move than a fantasy RPG thing. He has the orbs that will swat you away if you get up close. He has his little lightning barriers. He has so many ways to disengage, and you have so few ways to actually get to him, to where this makes so little sense. But anyway, to best deal with him, you want to hit him with something that he's weak to. He's weak to, pay attention to the color of the orbs at his shoulders. When they're purplish black like that, that means Ergo is the one who can wound him. If they are whitish teal, I don't know what you want to call that color, then the bear is the one who has to hurt him. Now when he's in this mode, you want your ideally you want the magic user to be able to do the attack because it'll hurt him a little bit more. So right here I am dodging. Right there's that Star Wars move I was referencing. So just stagger him with something, then do your assault to rush in there. Just try to combo him, and if you can chain him, you can actually simplify this quite a bit. But unfortunately, when you get him low, the entire thing is going to change somewhat. You do have the little wraith things here and there to sustain a little bit off of, but they're not really that much, really that good. So once you damage him enough, he'll go into the final phase, which is even worse, believe it or not. So right here, if you look at the color of his orbs, I need the bearer. And here we go. So in order to win this, you just have to get over there and hit him. But this is when he spams his disengage like no tomorrow. And as a result, you can get staggered, you get bounced around like a pinball. This part is just so stupid. As you can tell probably from the tone of my voice, the Capel fight has been the single most disappointing part of the game to date that I've encountered. Can't really stress it enough, this character, with the way he's set up, has no actual fit into the game. You can't really use range attacks because the lightning comes out so frequently, and it travels at an angle to where you can't actually shoot between the bolts. Kinda wondering if Capel is actually harder than the secret boss, to be honest. I really would not be surprised. So right there I was forced to pop a healing item. And ultimately I realized I have to face tank this. There's just no way through. And then every time you hit him, you get sent back to square freaking one. You just can't get over the lightning bolts to shoot down or anything. Right there I got lucky that I got bounced the right way, and as a result we can then finish it.
So, I have met my end. 'Tis not at all well met and merry.
Huh? This power.
The monster looks at the little girl. It knows that it's over for her. The child cries, shouts, and tries to escape. But the monster is faster. The claws penetrate her flesh, and she collapses with her body broken by pain. Everything will be over soon. But then something happens. A drop of the little girl's blood falls on the old chained book. The world becomes silent. And suddenly, they are not alone anymore.
Hi again, Sleeping Beauty. How are you? Honestly, you don't look too well.
I've been better.
This messenger thing is really messing you up, you know. Not that I dislike seeing you screwed, but only if I'm the cause.
Sweet as always.
So right here I'm going to talk to Velez. I believe this is when I buy the password, but I'm not totally sure. Okay, I bought the prison key. Now we're going to jump to the two most well-guarded secrets in the game. First of which is the Zodiac Temple, which holds the prisoner key that most people will not find. Now, the prisoners will give you clues that this is here. You have to fall through the brush. You get a prison key, and then you can release the last one. Next up is the 5th Capel memory in Stonehenge, so you have to walk into the middle of it here. I know it's not perfectly like Stonehenge, but that's what I think it's supposed to evoke. Then you need to go back to that core of fantasy that you saw me pick up a while ago. Right there, I was wondering what the war core was, but it's not what I was looking for. So right there is core of the fantasy. Use that, and you'll get your memory.
Jonathan floated around, watching the world beneath his feet, and created a cup of tea out of thin air. For him, everything was just a toy, a huge playroom full of pieces to entertain him and mitigate his eternal monotony. As he took the first sip, Jonathan thought it was increasingly difficult to find something funny to distract himself with lately. He had tried dozens of characters, playing both hero and villain, helping thousands of people, and sentencing just as many others to horrible fates. Light, darkness, weren't they just different aspects of the same thing? No matter how much time passed, Jonathan would not change. He wasn't an adult in a child's body, but a child frozen in time, one that would never grow, an aspect of fantasy itself. What should he do now to have fun?
Here I went back to nowhere to put in the final memory to see if anything happens, and sadly, it doesn't. So, we're done here.
Bearer of calamities, I felt your presence.
Lord Romeo?
Exet, are you kidding, babe? The damn Supreme Inquisitor here?
Shut up!
I am outside the building. Our forces, our armies, Nathaniel, the Inquisition, they are all here. I used all my power to create this gap that allows us to communicate, but it is unstable. We must be brief.
Milord, lady, she's dead. And the artifact is still missing. But it's just a matter of time before I...
Silence. What is happening is much more serious than you think. Far more than any of us ever thought. Just one person predicted it. And now we're too late. The whole world is in chaos. Many of the rules of reality are breaking. And this place is the source of everything.
I'm sorry, my lord. I don't understand.
The book you had to recover, the Biblos, was a collection of prophecies made by Herael Grimoire. They described certain conditions that would cause the end of the world. The object itself was unimportant. What mattered was the content. According to her omens, when a certain number of unique entities were reunited, they would bring about the end of all existence. For centuries, we have called these creatures the Messengers of the End, a suitable name for those who are considered the harbingers of the world's destruction. However, we never exactly understood all the intricacies of the prophecy, nor were able to locate all of the messengers. Until now.
My lord?
They are coming, bearer of calamities. Many are already here. This place is attracting the messengers to its core. We don't know how or why, but these creatures are meeting here for the first time. But we cannot enter. The tower is not in the same reality I am, where any of us are. Before me, there are only ruins and desolation. But you are already inside, which only means one thing. You are the last resort we have. You are my weapon, the darkness that devours darkness, my instrument of destruction. Find them, annihilate them, all of them, or the world will not see many more sunrises. We will try to stop them here before they arrive, but many will enter through the crevices between realities. Now go, Hunter of Shadows. You have much to do. There is no time to talk, Baron.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, shithead Romeo? If that thing says something like, it's dangerous to go alone, I will kill him.
Welcome to this, my humble room. My name is Velez. It is a pleasure for me to meet such distinguished guests. A monster without fate, and a young lady who has lost everything. Calm down, you have nothing to fear. I'm not an enemy. Though I suppose I would not consider myself an ally either. I am neither a memory nor a guest of the tower. You could say I'm a simple intermediary.
He speaks the truth, baby. I feel no hostility from him. In fact, I don't feel anything from him at all.
I know, but I can't help being uneasy. There's something strangely familiar about him. Velez was your name, right? Excuse me if I was rude. The truth is that it's been a difficult day.
Do not worry, my dear. Under the circumstances, it's logical that you're confused. You're not the only one here who feels this way. If you mean the tower, it has many names, but I think that it would be appropriate to call it Arcane. A place where the real world and the dream are part of the same side of the coin. The chamber, as I told you before, is Labyrinthos, my humble home. Me? I'm just a mere intermediary between guests and the world. I am not allowed to interfere. That is what the rules of the existence dictate. I won't help you, nor will I stand in your way. If you are here, you were chosen. You, a monster without fate, and the one who has lost everything, you can choose. Choose what? Your eyes ask, even when your lips have not yet moved. Everything. There are no limits. Such is my task. You can obtain everything or nothing, as long as you exchange it for something of equal value. Of course. They, the same as you, are moving too. Many of them are also invited to Labyrinthos. Or at least, those who are real. But excuse me, I may have already said too much, and I should not ignore the rules. I couldn't say. There are rules, and my limits are inside this room. I can only say that this is an old story that is about to end. A tale that is just waiting for all the actors in the play to be placed where they belong. If what you seek is something material, I have for you a long list of artifacts that perhaps you may find interesting. In return, unless you have something more interesting, I'll be happy to use as currency the fragments of existence of those that you have destroyed.